Ferrari is ready for the 2025 Formula One World Championship. The SF-25 car is already assembled in the Maranello factory, and as far as we know, only the final details remain before it can be considered finalized. Last week saw the second part of the Pirelli testing session, which took place at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. This was an additional examination of the new tire construction for the 2026 Formula One Championship, which is crucial for the Italian tire manufacturer. The Maranello team made available both its main drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, and, just like on Tuesday, the feedback provided to the tire manufacturer was very positive. The same goes for McLaren, which also participated in these track tests with great success. We have discussed more details on this topic in our previous videos from last week, with several dedicated analyses that we highly recommend. Meanwhile, before diving into the heart of the matter regarding Ferrari, let's quickly look at the team structure of the Italian side, a work group that will give its all in the upcoming racing season. We know well the two drivers who will grip the wheel of the cars. On one side, the now experienced Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc, who has been with Maranello for 7 seasons. Alongside him, the multi-award-winning Lewis Hamilton. Coming from Mercedes, he is full of ambition, convinced he can make a significant impact and elevate the historic Italian team. A duo that excites fans, considered by many industry experts as the strongest ever. For now, we are talking about an excellent relationship, a two-way communication to support each other. A crucial bond that can work if managed perfectly. Clearly, neither of them wants to finish behind his teammate. There is no doubt in this regard. They will fight to outdo each other, as it should be. What will matter is the ability to respect each other and push one another to elevate Ferrari without only focusing on their own goals. If that happens, the result can only be optimal. Now let's take a look at the team structure that aims to win the 2025 Formula One World Championship. The team principal remains the same, the ever-jovial, or almost, Frédéric Vasseur, capable of forging a united group and injecting new life into the veins of the prancing horse. Beside him is his right-hand man Jerome D'Ambrosio, who takes on the role of deputy team principal. Essentially, he is an extension of the former Alfa Romeo team boss. He will act in his place and assist him in performing all his tasks. Then there is the other Frenchman, this time from Nancy. We are talking about Loic Serra, also coming from the Brackley team. His role is clear technical director of the chassis area. Loic Serra is a tire and suspension expert who will have a significant impact on the team's vehicle dynamics department. The Italian Enrico Gualtieri remains the head and director of the power unit. Under his leadership, the Scuderia's engine has closed the gap it had in the past, now being considered the best in the category. The role of sporting director is in the hands of Diego Ioverno, a dedicated Ferrari man who has been with the team for a long time, a man of discipline and strong character. This brings us to Enrico Rocca, head of supply chain and manufacturing. His role is very important in Formula One, especially in this year when 2 distinct technical projects, 2025 and 2026, must be managed. In his case, it is about creating the best strategies for managing the entire factory and increasing staff efficiency. There's also the confirmation of Jane Ravin, who replaced Spaniard Iñaki Rueda last season and remains in charge of race strategies. Ferrari still needs to make further progress in this area. The British man of Indian origin worked hard this winter. We are waiting for results. Another happy confirmation is the technical director of aerodynamics, Diego Tondi, who took charge of the team after Enrico Cardilla's departure and skillfully corrected the SF-24 single-seater. His contribution proved decisive in the second part of the 2024 Formula One Championship. Starting again from him was the least that could be done. Finally, we come to Marco Adorno, the vehicle's performance head, who will work closely with Loic Serra. To complete the picture, we mention 2 individuals who have joined the family in recent months. On one side, Andrea Mannarino, responsible for the simulator and also a former Mercedes employee. He has been working at Maranello for just over 3 months, and despite the limited time, he has already shown that he knows how to make a positive impact. Another important Ferrari hire was Ben Daniels, coming from Aston Martin to strengthen the aerodynamics department. His mission is to improve the car's performance through an iterative development process. He is an idea developer, later tested in computational fluid dynamics, and then analyzes the results to identify the most promising options to experiment with in the wind tunnel. After clarifying the Ferrari team structure, it's worth spending a few words on the present. The F1 World Championship will officially start on March 14th. It will kick off at the Albert Park Circuit in Melbourne, Australia, with the first Grand Prix of a season that is shaping up to be one of the most competitive ever. Meanwhile, as is customary, drivers, technicians, and engineers will have the opportunity to test the new cars on track. The pre-season testing session will take place in Sakhir, Bahrain, a 3-day event starting on February 26th. This means that in less than 3 weeks, Formula One teams will be in the Middle East. Time is tight. The presentation of the SF-25 single-seater is scheduled for February 19th, followed by an initial shakedown at the home track in Fiorano. In these days, several tests are taking place at the factory, including the so-called, in technical terms, 7-post rig test. The top category makes extensive use of dynamic benches, advanced tools designed to replicate track surface irregularities, such as bumps and track imperfections. These devices are crucial to check the car's correct behavior and allow for the analysis of camber variations as well. As we well know, virtually putting a Formula One car through its paces is essential when it comes to development. However, having access to dynamic and physical simulation is equally important. Simulation tools need to complement each other. Some things are easier to build and run on the real car, while for other things it's easier to create a model or test on the simulator. The 7-post rig is a testing facility used to improve the car's performance through the suspension, where teams are able to replicate what the car does on the track in the controlled environment of the laboratory. Technicians and engineers replicate pitch, roll, but also the downforce. They can assess setup changes and look ahead to different concepts for both the current car and future designs. On race weekends, the Ferrari crews can collect data from Friday's running and enter the information into the rig's computer with the purpose of trialing various setups that take into account the track's topography and characteristics. Engineers know it is important to test the real vehicle as much as we can to help optimize the car when at the track. The Ferrari technicians, just like those of other teams, use their 7-post rig to repeat the profile of different tracks to see how to set up the car and what compromises to make between grip and aero levels, depending on the specificities of each track. According to the first details that have been reported by various Italian news media outlets, the suspension operation tests have been successful. This is a critical aspect to understand the car's dynamics in detail, especially in relation to the suspension designs adopted. In the case of the Italian car, which has made targeted modifications to the kinematics, this is quite positive news, as it seems there is a first physical confirmation of the data collected in the simulator. And although this scenario will need further confirmation, also on track, the path seems to be the right one.